Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to take a look at the FAQ for Mega Brave. You know what I always say, ladies and gentlemen? If you're going to play the game, you need to know the rules. So we looked at the FAQ for Mega Symphonia the other day. Now we need to follow up and have a look at Mega Brave. And why don't we start off with one of the most interesting cards in Mega Brave? It's Lieutenant Serge's Deal. This is a card that says, ask your opponent if they agree to have each player take a prize card. If your opponent agrees, you each take a prize card. Otherwise, you draw 4 cards. Can I use this when I have 0 cards left in my deck? Yeah. But if your opponent says each player cannot take a prize card, well, you're not drawing anything, there are no cards left. You play this and go, hey, can we each have a prize card? And your opponent goes, no, that's not going to work for me. And then you just move on with your life. You don't draw any cards, you can't draw any cards. Now, Ninetales is one, which is causing a little bit of consternation here because of its attack, Suspicious Shapeshifting. Single energy, discard the top card of your deck. If it is a supporter, use it as the effect of this attack. Alright, I use this. The top card of my deck just so happens to be Boss's Orders. Can I use this to gust something with Mist Energy attached? No, you can't. And it's kind of a weird one, this one. Mist Energy prevents all effective attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon done to the Pokemon this card is attached to. And the thing is, playing Boss's Orders is the effect of the attack. Ergo, the gusting is the effect of the attack. Ergo, Mist Energy would stop it. That's kind of a fun little side note here now, isn't it? Yes, it is. Now, once upon a time, Miriam was the big card from Scarlet and Violet base. Nowadays, it's a supporter card that shuffles up to 5 Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck. And if you shuffle any cards into your deck in this way, you draw 3 cards. Well, what if you use Ninetale? The top card of your deck is this, but you have no Pokemon in your discard pile. Do you still get to draw 3 cards? Nope. Because you only get to draw with Miriam if you shuffle the cards into your deck. You didn't shuffle the cards into your deck. It doesn't work. So here's an overly complicated one. What if you've got a Sandshrew from 151 that says trainer cards in your opponent's discard pile can't be put into their deck by an effect of your opponent's item or supporter cards? And I use Ninetales, and the supporter card I use is Cyllene, that lets me flip 2 coins and put a number of cards up to the number of heads from your discard pile on top of your deck in any order. Well, what if I hit this using Ninetales, and I flip a coin and I get heads? Then can I grab a trainer? Now, if I'm just playing Cyllene, there's no question here. We know it's blocked by Sandshrew. But remember the Mist Energy ruling a second ago where we said it was the attack doing the gusting, not the supporter? Same deal here. So even though my opponent's got Sandshrew, I hit Cyllene, and if I flip a heads, I can put a trainer on top of my deck because it's not the trainer card that's returning it, it's the Pokemon. Yes, this is a weird ruling, but it does make sense. And one last ruling here with Ninetales. If none of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's previous turn, and you use the attack, to discard the top card of your deck, and it happens to be a Mela, can you use it, given that it's only usable if you had a Pokemon code during your opponent's last turn? No. As well, essentially what happens is, you use this, you see Mela, and you go, yay, I play Mela. You can only use this if one of your Pokemon was code. Oh, it fails. And that's it. That's the end. You would be able to use it if you had a Pokemon knocked out the previous turn, but you can't, so you go to use it, and it fails. Now, Dangerous Abandoned Building is a stadium card that when either each player puts a basic fighting Pokemon onto their bench, they take 2 damage counters. Okay. Well, if I go ahead and use Squawkabilly, for instance, to go and put Pokemon straight from my deck onto the bench? Do they take the damage? The answer is yes. The reason is, it's not if they're played from the hand. It is just whenever they are played, they take the damage. That is a crucial part here. So because they don't need to be played from the hand, and if you look at the wording, the Stadium card does not say from the hand. It just says basic Pokemon other than Darkness put on the bench. Well, there we go. Nice and simple. One which you can get from reading the card, but I think some people might get wrong. What if I use Nestball to put a non-Darkness basic Pokemon straight onto my bar? Come on, you know this, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't matter where it comes from, as long as it hits the board and it's a basic non-Darkness, it will take the damage counters. Okay, so what if you grab a Solrock and a Lunatone, say from Squawkabilly, but the Lunatone is the one from Obsidian Flames, which specifically says it's immune to effects of Stadium cards? Yeah, you're fine. You're not taking the damage. Solrock and Lunatone both come out. The Stadium should put 2 damage counters on, but Lunatone goes, hang on a second. All effects of Stadiums done to any of my Pokemon in play are prevented. I don't take the damage. Ha 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 ha. Again, kind of a weird specific ruling, but I love it. Okay, let's keep going. This is apparently a weird card which is leading to a bunch of rulings. What if I want to use Ogre's Mask to swap? I mean, it doesn't really matter. Let's say I'm swapping a Teal Mask Ogerpon for a Wellspring Mask Ogerpon. It doesn't actually matter which ones I'm swapping. Well, what happens then? Do I take the damage? No. You're not playing a basic Pokemon. You're just swapping one for another. That doesn't count. Now, I'm going through the FAQ in order. I don't know why we've gone back to Lieutenant Serge's deal, but we have, so let's just roll with it. Remember, this lets both players take a prize card if your opponent agrees. And the question, and I know people have been wondering about this, I've been wondering about this, how does this work with Chansey? The Chansey from 151 that if it is taken as a face-down prize card during your turn and your bench isn't full, you can bench it and flip a coin, and if heads, take one more prize card. Does it work? Of course it does. You've taken it as a face-down prize card. As long as you've got a bench space and you flip a heads, take that extra prize, you'll be good. What happens if I've got one prize left and my opponent's got one prize left, and then I play this and my opponent says, okay, yeah, let's both take a prize? What happens? It's a draw. The game is tied. It's really unsatisfying, but of course that's what happens. I'm not a fan of this personally, and it's a situation where, you know, your opponent would only say yes to this if they figured they were going to lose. It's kind of a weird way of IDing, but of course this is what happens. How could it be anything else? The other supporter in Mega Symphonia is Lillie's Determination. This is the one where you shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 6 cards, but if you have 6 prizes remaining exactly, you draw 8 cards instead. Well, if I've got 0 cards in my deck and 2 or more cards in my hand, including Lillie's Resolve, can I use this? You can. Not 100% sure why you would need to, but you absolutely can. Now, Premium Power Pro is a very nice card that lets your fighting Pokemon do 30 more damage to your opponent's active during the turn. Well, can I play 2 of them at the same time and actually, hang on a second, all of a sudden, I'm doing an extra 60? Yeah, of course you can. Nothing to say you can. It's an item card. You can play as many as you like. Go nuts. Iron Defender says that during your opponent's next turn, your metal Pokemon take 30 less damage from your opponent's attacks. Can I use this if I don't have any metal Pokemon on the field? You can. Again, I question why you want to, but you can. Can I use 2 of these to get the minus 60 reduction? Yeah, of course you can. Go nuts. Go for it. You're fine. Yay! Now we have a new Gumshoos in the set. And it's got an ability that says once during your turn, you may switch a card from your hand with the top card of your deck. Cool. Can I do this if I've got 0 cards in my deck? No, because there's nothing to switch with. Can I use this when I have 0 cards in hand? No, because there's nothing to switch with. Can I use this to look at the top card of my deck before selecting a card from my hand? No, and this is actually the big ruling that people will get wrong. You need to select the card that you're swapping before you look. And this is going to make a huge difference, because there may well be that you look at the top card of your deck and you go, oh, that's an energy. Might as well swap it with another energy so I'm not clogging my hand or whatever. Yeah, you don't get to look. You have to do it on faith. Yes, this could absolutely go wrong. Cross your fingers, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I like Gholdengo, as I'm sure a lot of people like Gholdengo. And what we got with the new Gholdengo here is an attack whereby you flip a coin until you get tails, and for each heads you get to search your deck for any card. Could be broken if it works. Well, if your first flip is heads, but you can't actually add a card to your hand, can you still look at the deck? Nope. You got to actually be grabbing something or you can't look at the deck. Now, Genesect has a frankly redonkulous ability. Genesect, incidentally, isn't new. We've already got that one. But we know that it searches for 2 evolution metal Pokemon. Can you get Mega Moral using this? No. It might be a Mega Evolution Pokemon technically, but in the trading card game, it is a basic Pokemon. And therefore, no, you absolutely cannot search it out with Genesect. Would be cool if you could, and do remember there's a very good chance that in the future we will get other basic metal Mega Evolutions. This will be the same ruling there. I don't think we're going to need to repeat ourselves. Now, we have a new Spiritomb coming along in this set, with an ability whereby whenever your active Darkness Pokemon takes damage from an opponent's attack, you put 1 damage counter on the attacking Pokemon. Okay. Well, what if my opponent's using Ting-Lu to deal damage to an opponent's dark Pokemon on the field and place damage counters on the bench Pokemon? Can I use Spiritomb here to place damage counters? No. Remember, Ting-Lu turns off the abilities of anything with a damage counter on, so basically Ting-Lu drops the damage, at which point Spiritomb would activate and drop a damage counter. Except at the moment it goes to activate, Ting-Lu is actually turning it off. So no, I'm sorry, it doesn't work. Now, Mega Absol's got a rather nice attack. If your opponent's active Pokemon has exactly 6 damage counters, it's knocked out. What if it's got 7 damage counters? Well, then it doesn't have exactly 6, does it? So it's not knocked out. There we go. Move on with your life. Now, Mega Lucario has got an attack that for a single energy attaches 3 basic from your discard pile to your bench Pokemon in any way that you like. Well, what if I've got 1 basic fighting energy in my trash? Can I choose not to attach a basic fighting energy to my bench Pokemon? Save it for later? Yeah, you're fine. You're good to go. Well, okay. Let's talk about Sandslash here. Sandslash from this set, incidentally. 2 energy on your opponent's next turn. When the Pokemon attacked by this attack makes a move, your opponent flips a coin. If it's heads, the attack fails. All right. Well, Mega Lucario attacks into this when it's under the conditions that will make it flip. But I used Mega Brave that says you can't use it next turn. Well, it failed this turn. Can I use it next turn? Yeah. Because you didn't actually use Mega Brave. You tried to use Mega Brave and it failed. That's fine. Hey, while we're here, Lucario's a Mega Evolution EX, but is it also a Pokemon EX? Yeah, it is. You're good. Now, Cinderace has an awesome ability whereby when you're setting up to begin the game, you can put it face down as your starting Pokemon, as your active Pokemon. Well, if I don't have this on my opening hand, so I put a different basic down to start the game, but then my opponent mulligans and then I draw Cinderace as my mulligan card, can I then put that down as my active Pokemon instead? No. This is another one that I think people will get wrong. Unfortunately, you can't swap out your basic when your opponent's drawing for the mulligan, or you're drawing for your opponent's mulligan. So, yeah. Sorry about that. If I have no basic Pokemon among the first 7, but I've only got Cinderace, but no other basics, can I use this to put it down as my active? Yes. Yes, you can, because the rules say you can. What if I don't want to? What if I have no basic, but I have Cinderace? Can I choose to Mulligan? Yes. Because the rule says you can Mulligan if you don't have a basic Pokemon. You don't have a basic Pokemon. So you can put Cinderace down, but you don't have to. What about Mega Venusaur EX? Can it move Prism Energy? No. Of course it can't. The card, and I'm using the English scan on the screen here, the card literally says you can use this to move basic Grass Energy. We have no issue with Prism Energy. It counts as a Grass Energy when attached, but it's not a basic energy, so no, you can't move it. So there we go. That's what you need to know about Mega Brave, all of the rulings, and now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about these. Tell me which make sense and which don't. And remember, some of these, like the Lieutenant Serge Chansey ruling, for instance, and the Cinderace ruling, these are important ones which people may well get wrong. Let me know about all of this in the comment section. Get us! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel like the lovely Kool-Aid, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and seems to be a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.